Alright, what's going on, guys? One of the most anticipated games of the last decade is Black Myth Wukong, a new action RPG from the team over at Game Science, and today I'm privileged to bring you an introduction into the game's world. Black Myth Wukong is a fantastical journey through the world of Journey to the West, where you play as the Destined One, Sun Wukong, and confront the many challenges before him.
You too want to be an immortal?
Like many of you, when I first heard of Black Myth Wukong and saw the original trailer for the game, I was blown away. It depicted one of the most fascinating worlds and graphically impressive games I'd seen in a very long time. And to top it off, the gameplay looked like a blast. With fast-paced and accurate combat, and of course incredible looking boss fights, every bit of this game that we've seen so far has been quite the spectacle. And all of that was only cemented after the latest trailer, which is why I'm excited to collaborate with them to get you up to speed on the game. So if you are someone who is unfamiliar with Black Myth Wukong, let me tell you a little bit about the gameplay. Influenced by the legacy of the Souls games and the action RPG genre, Black Myth Wukong thrusts you into a mythic and twisted telling of Journey to the West, a 16th century Chinese fantasy epic. The central highlight of the game is the intricate combat and high-octane action. You play as Sun Wukong with his signature staff, utilizing a plethora of mystical abilities that can turn the tide of a battle. The core combat employs satisfying parries, dodge rolls, and sidesteps, with a loop of attack pattern recognition and pinpoint hitboxes that reach their pinnacle in the game's boss fights, elements that will make us here on this channel feel right at home. But like many adventure RPGs, we of course have a level structure with shrine checkpoints you can rest at and respawn when you die. Now the details on the game's level design and world formation are fairly scarce at the moment, but gameplay does appear to follow somewhat Souls-like design with it, and having that harsh punishment from enemies and bosses alike. From people that have gotten to play a demo of the game, early levels present a fairly linear layout, but into the later levels the game opens up quite a bit, with branching paths to choose which allow you to strategize about how to approach the enemies and navigate the surroundings, which I know a lot of people like me will appreciate. Levels of course should be worth exploring, with lots of gear to find for Wukong that will aid you in your journey. Various pieces of armor and clothing have different stats and ways in which they help you, such as greater defense or better resistance to ailments like poison. And as you explore these vast and beautiful levels, there of course will be lots of treasure to find, allowing you to trick out Sun Wukong with new armor, items, and abilities that can aid you on your journey. But the most important question of all of this is, what is that journey?
Cleanse the world with blood and grow lotuses in it. That is your destiny.
The game takes place under the vast tale of Journey to the West, a unique and mystical world of Chinese mythology. And as you can see from many of the enemy designs, landscapes, and Wukong himself, it is brimming with personality. The game has a larger-than-life take on many of these tales with a massive scope, such as seen in the scenes of Wukong flying along the clouds or riding trails of lightning, and in many of the enemy designs, with regal creatures standing into the clouds or walking alongside mountains, all with a backdrop of natural beauty. But what is the story here? Well, as we stated, the game is based on Journey to the West, a classic Chinese novel believed to be written in the 16th century. The story follows the adventures of the monk Xuanzang and his three disciples, including Sun Wukong, the mischievous Monkey King, Zhu Bajie, the pig demon or Yaguai, and Sha Wujing, the river ogre. Tasked by the Tang Emperor to retrieve Buddhist scriptures from India, the group encounters numerous challenges, battles, and learn valuable lessons about friendship, loyalty, and enlightenment along the way. It's a rich blend of mythology, adventure, and moral teachings, and had a very lasting impact in Chinese literature. And to understand the story of Black Myth Wukong, we need to further understand Journey to the West. The novel itself is divided into three parts, with the first being our focus that tells of the birth and adventures of Sun Wukong. The adventures of Sun Wukong span many times, locations, and realms, but the character and personality of the Monkey King lead him to interesting and complex situations. Tales such as being kidnapped to the underworld and fighting his way out, riding clouds through the heavens, tending an orchard of immortal peach trees, and a legendary shape-shifting battle are only a fragment of the journey. Sun Wukong's big personality finds him angering the gods, outsmarting great monsters, and fighting the forces of general boredom and complacency. Though eventually Wukong finds himself confronted by Buddha, trapped in the palm of his hand, stuck beneath a seal of a mountain at the edge of the universe, but the destiny does not end there. But the story of Black Myth Wukong is not a one-to-one retelling of the classic novel, but part of our journey will be uncovering what exactly Sun Wukong's destiny is. And even that's not all there is to it. The game's website gives us this description: the story of Wukong tells more than Wukong himself. The monkey is the leading role for sure, but he's still a small part of the overall vivid world. There are plenty of intriguing characters and thought-provoking dialogues in Journey to the West, not to mention the infamous Darkness Veiled. We applaud when Wukong defeats these so-called villains, but who are they indeed? So there's a story here that's not so black and white in a world of its own that we'll need to take the time and learn about. It's this whimsical storytelling that appeals the most to me about Black Myth Wukong, because there's so much life in all the clips we've seen, and you can tell the team has a real passion about the mythology they're presenting. This will be an incredible journey.
The Destined One who doesn't even know what he's destined for? Those old rascals, they surely know how to name.
But I want to nerd out a little bit about the game's boss fights, because while the game is still a ways off, we've seen quite a lot of them, from giant insects that roll around as a ball, a massive wolf monster that jumps around the arena, the tiger vanguard, which already seems like it'll be a fan favorite, and of course that beautiful white dragon or Lung that's fought atop a frozen lake. Every boss has such an impressive spectacle, and the gameplay looks so pinpoint and satisfying, which is to be expected of a Souls-like. But what we can clearly see here is that they get things right about Souls-like bosses. While they do have big moves and deal huge damage, there's a clear rhythm to them, like we see here in this desert boss, that sends shockwaves in an almost musical way, matching with the soundtrack that's playing in the background. In fights like the Tiger Vanguard, which has been a highlight recently, there's plenty of downtime between the combos, which is your reward for surviving, where you get to deal damage. It's not just an endless stream of never-ending attacks, which makes the game only memorization. These look much better than that. And with all of Sun Wukong's unique abilities, there's more than just one way to fight each boss, which I think makes games that allow such player freedom much more fun. I absolutely love the designs and art style of these bosses, and I cannot wait to fight them, learn their movesets, and struggle as we're so accustomed to. But today I get the special privilege of introducing a handful of these bosses to you. Firstly, we have the Spider Demons or Yoguai, characters we've seen in a very interesting cutscene. This family of 5 dwells in the Silk Cave, celebrating the marriage of their mother, but there's a dark secret within this family. These Yoguai maintain their sinister habits of feeding on humans, as indicated in the cutscene by their disdain for interruptions at their meals. In the game, each of the spider demons possesses distinct abilities and tactics reflective of their roles in the original tale. In Journey to the West, the spider women meet Tong Sanzong and trap him in a web after he discovers their true identity, but he's later saved after Sun Wukong defeats them. Now, one thing I really like about the boss fight that we see, the short clip of it that we have, is how the spider attacks so wildly with all their legs. This looks like it'll be a very fun and fast-paced fight. Another boss fight that you'll encounter in your journey is the 100-Eyed Demon Lord. He is the uncle of the Spider Women, a half-man, half-centipede, sharing their insectish nature, and attacks with streams of golden light. We'll encounter this boss in the Yellow Flower Temple level, contending with his 1,000 eyes that use golden light to trap his prey. However, in the story of Journey to the West, this demon lord is disguised as a Taoist monk, who Sun Wukong and Tong Sanzong meet and share tea with. Unbeknownst to them though, the tea is poisoned, but Sun Wukong notices this, and a situation breaks out where Tong Sanzong is taken hostage. But to meet this challenge, Sun Wukong captures the spider demon family and holds them as his own hostage. Later on in the story though, this demon lord is defeated by Pilanpo Bodhisattva and sent to guard the 1,000-Flower Cave. The next boss is probably my favorite that we've seen so far. This is the Blood Moon General. But the true identity of this beast is Maori Jingguan, the son of Pilampo, who defeated the 100-eyed demon lord. However, this state we find Maori in is horribly corrupted. There's a side quest involved with this boss fight that will allow Sun Wukong to gain the bug transformation after being tasked to seek out the eggs of a creature called the King Lang. A woman with a snake-like body is mourning Maori, saying she lacks the ability to avenge him. The side quest involves the nature of the King Lang eggs, a boss fight with the Taoist who consumes them, and seeing the links ones will go to gain immortality. And through this, we learn more about what exactly happened to Maori. I love the spectacle of this boss fight because we see a wide range of attacks from him, all of which can be dealt with in various ways, such as the beams he shoots out being dodged through or jumped over, and then this attack where he shoots out all these feathers that the player uses a substitute to dodge through the first time, and then a special skill with the staff to deflect the second. There's a lot of player freedom going on here, and I really like that. Not to mention overall, I think the design here is just really cool. But the final boss we get to discuss today is the Poisonous King, dwelling in Purple Cloud Mountain. Here we'll encounter this creature atop a roof drinking wine. Engaging him in dialogue, we'll learn that he mourns his late wife, though he warns us that if we break his wine jars, we'll regret it. But what is a Souls-like player to do but roll into the jars? And not heeding the warning, this triggers the boss fight. This boss uses lots of very fast strikes with his pincer and long combos that flow together. His stinger can launch across the arena, leaving a pool of poison behind even if dodged. I like how the flow of this boss fight shifts between his brutal smashing with the claw and a disciplined dance-like attack with the stinger. It communicates that the character is both powerful and experienced in fighting, and I think it's really cool. But this boss has a special poison spell, with roots tying back into Journey to the West. In the novel, there's a scorpion demoness that abducts Tang Sanzang, enticing him to marry her. Sun Wukong, attempting to rescue him, is struck by the poisonous tail and left immobilized in excruciating pain. However, Sun Wukong, Zhu Baijie, and Maori Jingguan, who as we just discussed was the Blood Moon General in this game, come back for Tang Sanzang, and this time Sun Wukong lures the scorpion demoness out of her cave, where Maori transforms into a giant rooster and defeats her. According to the wiki, the story is a play on one of Yang Jingquan's Yuan Dynasty play, The Queen's Forced Marriage, and the queen from that story was transformed into the Scorpion Demoness. I really love how much this game draws from the original tales, and reflects that in a new light. So by playing the game, we'll be learning about all these famous characters and stories of old. There's such a wide plethora of interesting designs that we've seen, and it'll be an absolute treat for those familiar with Journey to the West. And even for someone like me, who's mostly unfamiliar with the story, I now want to go and learn more. There's so much life in all the clips we've seen, and you can tell the team has a real passion about the mythology they're presenting, which again just reinforces that idea that this journey will be incredible to embark on. But out of the 4 bosses we discussed here, which one are you most excited to face? Y'all let me know down in the comments section. I cannot wait to finally play Black Myth Wukong. It's easily my most anticipated game of this year, set to release on August 20th, and from the looks of it, will most certainly be a game you'll want to wishlist. You can learn more about Black Myth Wukong from the links in the description, but in the meantime, don't miss out on the chance to participate in their Mythology contest and social media giveaways for an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4700 Super graphics card, custom controller, and some official merch. So join me in giving Black Myth Wukong a big thank you for their partnership on this video, and keep an eye out for more Black Myth Wukong news to come. But with all that, I will catch you in the next one.
Such a destiny. Do you still want it?